Domino's a mercenary with a lucky streak a mile wide, but what happens when that luck runs out? What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is an iReview, a show where I go over a comic book, its story, its art, give you my impressions, and let you know whether it's something you should go back to the comic book shop for or not. Make sure you subscribe to get more of these every single week. The book that I want to talk about right now is Domino #1, a brand new story arc from Gail Simone, and I can't wait to see what she injects into this mercenary kind of character. There's a great supporting cast that goes along with it, a lot of history that goes with a lot of other different Marvel characters, and we're actually going to see a lot of that in this issue. But let's dive in and see what she can do when the luck runs out for Domino. As we get closer and closer to the official kickoff of Marvel's fresh start, we actually get a bunch of brand new issues like Domino #1 by Gail Simone. So if you're not familiar with Domino, Domino is of course the character that was introduced in X-Force #8, and she's a mercenary. She's been appearing inside Deadpool and X-Force comics for decades at this point in time, and what we're going to do is actually kick off in some way that not necessarily everybody's expecting, with a dog that looks like Domino. So with Gail Simone at the helm of Domino, I think that this is going to be a little bit more comedic kind of book. As we kind of get a little bit of exposition, we get a little bit of backstory with her, talking about how she's a mercenary, how she does bad things for money, how she's never home. We get her interacting with this dog with no real other context involved, and you can already see that this is going to be a bit more lighthearted book than what you would expect. Flash over to Oregon, where we're talking about timber piracy, where they're stealing wood and trees and equipment that is necessary for that, and we realize that Domino isn't alone. She is here with Outlaw, Crazy Inez Temple, and this is interesting because this is also a creation from Gail Simone, who actually appeared in Deadpool way back in the day as well. But we're talking about a lot of real exposition and explanation. We get a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more of that kind of fun, free nature that we're expecting out of this Gail Simone comic. It's going to be a little bit more on the humorous side. And the kickoff to everything is this one-page splash looking at Domino's back, set to the theme of Cherry Bomb, leaving Outlaw up on the ridge on her own as Domino makes her way into this actual little campsite. They're speaking Russian. She doesn't necessarily understand what those things are, but the person that's being held hostage says that there's something in her pocket, a present for her, as she reaches in, and we see a broken Domino and the tear of the fabric over the hooded figure in the background, turning out that he's a mutant, almost like a werewolf kind of thing. It's a trap. They walked right into it. There's nothing that they can really do, and immediately this beast just smacks her across the clearing, and now she is super pissed, especially because it's her birthday. It is Nina's birthday, and what is she doing? She's out here running around in the mud, trying to escape this truck that's almost about to run her over, and her power is the ability to manipulate probability. It's not something that she can actively do, but it's something that takes care of her. It enhances her reflexes. It gives her a better reaction time. It allows her to make impossible shots and escape things that could otherwise be inescapable. So as she's running through, she just crashes down into the mud on accident, it seems, as the truck just blasts right over her. Of course, she's not super happy about it because she got mud in her cleavage. But that's just one of these things that's going to be going on in this series. This is the interaction between the action aspect and the humor aspect. As the truck goes barreling past and we see Outlaw throw her down onto the ground to escape this gunfire, Outlaw grabs her by the costume and just throws her fastball special style. I mean, does she even look Canadian? You see her tumbling through everything, but the move itself tends to be pretty effective, and we finally see her face to face with her assailant, with this kind of mutant that is there to cause her harm, cause her damage, and she's just pointing two guns right at the dude's balls, just ready to turn a he into a she. But as he powers down, and he leaves somebody that's, a little bit less than stellar when it comes to this, talking about how these girls look like models. These women, they're not mutants, they're gorgeous, but he doesn't have any idea what these girls have been through, particularly Domino. And while we did see an explosion in the distance as that truck was running off, we actually see the person that caught up with him, and that happens to be Diamondback. And immediately we transition from Oregon to San Francisco, where we're headed back to Nina Thurman's safe house, to her apartment, looking to be evidently a little bit more dressy in this respect, only to find that it's a surprise birthday party for our girl Domino. And this is a cameo-heavy party. That's what this is all about. It is all about the cameos. You see the interactions, you see the caring that goes between the two characters of Outlaw and Domino. You see the interaction. Deadpool's in there. Wade Wilson's there. You see Colossus, you see Cable. There's all kinds of different people around. Dazzler is the one that is playing the birthday party. She's there singing for Domino. All these people have come out to show their support and to celebrate their friend friend. And one of the things that they can't anticipate is the onset of these headaches that flash her back to the former life that she once had when she was a child, when this spot on her face was tattooed as a mark. As she interacts with Wolverine, her time on X-Force, the violence and murder that she has perpetrated, she remembers everything. And that causes her a bit more pain than just simple headaches, something where she's going to drown it out with alcohol. She's not necessarily going to treat her friends with the kindness that they would expect. That doesn't stop Rachel, that doesn't stop Diamondback from showing her a good time. Dazzler's about to put on a light show, and then Rachel has a present for her, bringing her into her bedroom and showing her Pip, the dog that we saw on page number 1 with the spot over its left eye, like her brand new owner, leaving Domino to sit there and bond. However, we do see that Wade is interacting with Diamondback. He's telling her about Topaz, the person that was mentioned by that mutant when they were in Oregon, and that Topaz is not somebody you want to fuck with. You know, you do not want to mess with this witch. She will fuck you all right up. And that's the insinuation that he has for her. And Domino is in, she's feeling comfortable. She's in her safe house. She's relaxing with her brand new puppy. And the last thing she would expect is this decrepit old man and this tall redhead in some sort of monk costume ready to whoop her ass. A present that is gifted to her, another broken domino, and then all of a sudden they're inside a fight. She's getting tossed around her own apartment, her arm being stepped on as she reached for her gun. No one can hear her over the music, and she can feel that they're gone. She can't feel her powers. She knows that they're not there as she gets thrown out the window, the breaking glass shattering around her, ready to splat on the ground below. She is going to die. And that's where Gail Simone ends issue number 1. So for something that started off in a relatively slower pace, it's really interesting to start off that funny or that kind of humorous approach to really introduce somebody to a character and then go into the action-oriented piece while continuing to maintain that humor, which is one of the stronger points of Gail Simone's writing. And then you've got the art inside the story. So while I can't necessarily pronounce his name correctly, I am really excited about this art. It seems to be very fun. There are some hyper-stylized portions of it, particularly when Domino scrunches her face. The character models are actually very good, and it looks like it's going to be a really strong appeal. There's a really good sense of storytelling inside the visuals, and that makes me excited for issue number 2. It might not necessarily be the book for everybody. Domino is a character that really ties into a lot of my history. I mean, I was a huge X-Men, X-Force, a huge Spider-Man fan back in the 80s and the 90s. That is my real cutting my teeth on comic books time. So Domino always has a special place in my heart, and that's why I'm going to continue on with story number 1. I understand if it's not for you guys, and I want to know what you guys think too. So hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.